Sophie Grant had always believed in love, in the kind that grew stronger with time, like roots spreading quietly beneath the soil. For 7 years, she and her husband Michael had built a life together. It wasn't perfect, but it was theirs. Lately, though, things had changed. Michael had become distant, always glued to his phone, responding with half-hearted nods when she spoke, coming home late with tired excuses. Sophie tried to be understanding. He had a demanding job, deadlines, clients, but the warmth they once shared had cooled into polite silence. At first, she waited for things to get better. Then, one night, after another ignored dinner and another cold apology, something inside her broke. It was a Friday evening. Sophie had cooked his favorite, roasted chicken with lemon butter and mashed potatoes, hoping they might talk, reconnect. But when Michael came home, he barely looked at the table. "I already ate," he said, loosening his tie. "Long day. I'm going to shower." Her voice was calm but sharp. "You could have told me." He sighed, clearly exhausted. "Sophie, not tonight, please." That single phrase, "not tonight," had become his wall, his shield. Sophie looked at him, her chest tight. "You always say that, Michael. I can't remember the last time we actually talked." He rubbed his temples. "You're overthinking again." That did it. Something hot and painful surged through her. She set down her fork, her voice trembling. "Maybe I am. Maybe that's the problem. I care too much." He didn't respond. He just walked past her, heading toward the bedroom. That night, Sophie lay awake, staring at the ceiling. She remembered how he used to hold her hand while watching movies, how he used to bring home flowers, just because. Now, he barely noticed when she cried. By morning, she'd made up her mind. She wasn't going to scream or beg. She wasn't going to threaten to leave. She was simply going to disappear for a while. No calls, no notes, no explanations. If he truly cared, he'd come looking for her. If not, well, she'd have her answer. She packed a small bag and drove to her mother's cabin 2 hours away. It was quiet there, surrounded by trees, with no cell service and no reminders of Michael's indifference. For the first time in months, she felt peace. She spent her days reading, taking walks by the lake, and thinking about what she really wanted. At first, she waited for him to call. Then she waited for him to text. But the silence stretched on. 1 day passed. Then 3. Then a week. Nothing. Her anger slowly turned into confusion. Did he even notice I was gone? By the second week, doubt began to gnaw at her. Maybe he was glad she'd left. Maybe she had overreacted. Finally, after 10 long days, Sophie couldn't take it anymore. She packed up her things and drove home, her heart pounding with dread. When she opened the front door, the house felt wrong. Too still. She walked inside, expecting to hear the faint hum of music or the rustle of papers from Michael's office. But the air was heavy, quiet, almost hollow. "Michael," she called softly. No answer. She stepped into the kitchen, and froze. On the table sat a stack of envelopes, neatly arranged beside her favorite mug. A small note rested on top. "If you're reading this, I guess you came back." Her fingers trembled as she unfolded it. "Sophie, I don't know where you went or why you left, but I can't say I didn't see it coming. I've known for months that I've been distant, not because I stopped caring, but because I've been scared. I lost my job 2 months ago and didn't know how to tell you. I didn't want to see the disappointment in your eyes. I thought I could fix it before you found out, but I couldn't. The more I tried to hide it, the more I pulled away from you. And when I saw the hurt in your face, I hated myself for it. If leaving gave you peace, then maybe that's what you needed. But if you came back, and if you still want us, I'll be waiting, at the lake where we first met." Michael. Sophie's breath hitched. He'd lost his job? All those nights he came home late, all the exhaustion, it wasn't from work. It was from pretending everything was fine. Tears burned her eyes. She had assumed the worst of him while he had been silently drowning. Without thinking twice, she grabbed her keys and drove straight to Maple Lake, the place where they'd first met during a summer picnic years ago. When she arrived, the sun was setting over the water, casting golden ripples across the surface. And there he was, sitting on the wooden dock, head bowed, holding a small bouquet of white lilies. Sophie's throat tightened. She walked toward him slowly. Michael turned, his eyes tired but warm. "You came back." She nodded, tears spilling freely. "I thought you didn't care." He gave a sad smile. "I thought you'd stopped believing in me." Sophie sat beside him, their hands brushing. For a long time, neither spoke. The only sound was the soft lapping of the lake against the dock. Finally, she whispered, "I wanted to teach you a lesson, to make you realize what it's like when I'm gone. But the lesson was mine." Michael looked at her gently. "And what did you learn?" She smiled through her tears. "That love isn't about making the other person hurt. It's about standing beside them, even when they don't know how to ask for help." He reached for her hand, squeezing it tightly. "Then maybe it's time we start over." Sophie nodded. Together. That night, as they sat by the lake under a sky full of stars, Sophie realized how easy it was to let pride build walls between two people, and how much courage it took to tear them down. Leaving had shown her what silence could do. But coming back had shown her what forgiveness could heal. And in that quiet moment, with Michael's hand in hers, Sophie finally understood. Sometimes the hardest lessons in love are the ones we teach ourselves.